Well, Ultimate Boy just had to put this on my What If Future Piccolo Survived Part 2. So, Tylearn, control your damn fans, man! All joking aside, welcome to the Future Piccolo Sagas. Today, two channels go head-to-head on a similar topic to see which one covered the source material better. Regularly, though, we support one main phrase on this channel. Creativity is universal. No matter who wins, both channels came up with a scenario that is definitely deserving of respect. So, check out both of them in the description below. Today, we're going to be covering my topic of What If Future Piccolo Survived, while also looking at Tylearn's topic of What If Future Piccolo Survived! I mean, did you have to put the caps? Each series has two parts so far, so we're going to be looking at what each part did and how good it was to prove the way they're going. Let's kick off episode 2 of Great Minds with the Future Piccolo Sagas. First topic, the setting. Both begin in the Future Saga, but one of them skews away in the timeline a little bit quicker. That would be mine. In mine, I had reason to believe that Super Saiyan Vegeta would be there to save Piccolo's life. And Tylearn's...
The androids basically kill everyone like in the original except for Gohan. However, one character would survive along with Gohan in this scenario, and that character is Piccolo. Gohan is basically trying to wake up Piccolo, hoping that he's alive, and luckily Piccolo manages to get up.
Hey Tylearn, how did Future Piccolo survive again? 'Cause it just seemed like you had him wake up. I'm not going to be picky on that though. This is the setting. Tylearn stayed in the Future Saga for the entirety of his two parts. And the parts in his near future. Mine may start in the Future Saga, but I did involve the time travel and Mecha Frieza. That whole canon thing does happen, with Future Piccolo and Future Trunks going to the past. What's brilliant about Tylearn's is that he makes the Future Saga work. Like, to me, it was just apocalyptic. There's no way anybody would have survived. It was just there. Without a lot of travel, Tylearn still makes the Future Saga, as far as a setting, very interesting. Even to the point of the repeat battles with 17 and 18, those are also very appealing. Piccolo heading back into the fray is very believable, because with Kami's spirit in him, he's willing to defend the planet that is now his responsibility. For mine, I kept it consistent. I had all of the settings that you saw in canon be revealed here. I portrayed the timeline much like how it was in the anime, and that in and of itself is a big weakness of mine. So, this point goes to Tylearn. Being able to be creative with the Future Saga? Bravo, man. I was really impressed with how that turned out. Now then, let's analyze the main character in all of this, Future Piccolo. Tylearn's Future Piccolo is far more angry towards Gohan because everyone else is dead. If they can't do this, then Earth's done. He wants Gohan to succeed Goku in order to defend Earth properly. And, I mean, it works. But then we get to part 2 of his series. I don't see Piccolo abusing the hyperbolic time chamber as much either. Maybe a couple of times, and maybe for a day at a time, because the environment he knows is still very... yeah, it's very harsh. Giving Gohan just a taste of that, I think, would be enough for Piccolo to do. Not an entire year of it. Although, this did work to his advantage, as Piccolo was able to keep up with the Super Saiyans. His power would also raise, because towards the end of part 2, he said that Piccolo would use the hyperbolic time chamber to stay on track with the Super Saiyan 2s that were popping up. a very nice detail, and I do see Piccolo training hard to keep up with them. He's a great warrior in his own right. However, considering the protagonist is intended to be Piccolo, Part 2 didn't really focus on Piccolo a whole lot. He was there, he was a supportive character for Gohan, but honestly, Gohan took a lot of the spotlight. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying that with a little more Piccolo in it, maybe it would shine a little bit more. It's kind of a flaw, but it does help put a bow on the end of the Cell Saga, or what's supposed to be the Cell Saga in that timeline. Mine begins similarly, but I didn't want to use the hyperbolic time chamber. I opted out. This means that the harsh training for Gohan to become a Super Saiyan, that happens on Earth. Piccolo and Gohan train hard so that he can become a Super Saiyan, and maybe they'll have a chance against 17 and 18. And after that, well, yeah, Gohan dies, but this death causes Trunks to become a Super Saiyan, much like his father. And this also causes Piccolo to be a little bit more cold of a character. Piccolo also gets more interactions with the likes of future Trunks, Goku, Frieza, and King Cold, as well as Vegeta a bit. He kind of just pisses Vegeta off in mine. However, situations he's never been in can add to an overall character's likability, and considering this is the same Piccolo we all know and love, seeing him go through these really adds to the protagonist in ours. So, point to StevDeS. A hero is nothing without its villains though, so let's touch on the bad guys, why not? For Tylearn series, we see Piccolo versus 18, and then Piccolo and Gohan versus 17 and 18. And then Piccolo and Super Saiyan Gohan fighting 17 and 18. Not a lot of originality, but heads up Tylearn fans, because Imperfect Cell is coming. And judging by how he ended that, Imperfect Cell's gonna be under the radar for a good amount of it. In mine, we had 17 and 18 versus Piccolo, only for Piccolo to be saved by Vegeta. Then we had 17 and 18 versus Piccolo and Gohan, and that didn't end up real well. However, at the end of Part 1, Trunks and Piccolo both go to the past. In the past, we have Piccolo interacting with the likes of King Cold, which also adds character development to that bad guy. Due to the kind of effort future Piccolo has to put out here, and with King Cold developing the final form just to fight him, I think there's a lot more villainous intent, especially when you have to involve the Frieza clan. However, when you fight the same baddies 3 separate times in like a week, at that point, things get a little repetitive. Point to StevDeS on this one. Not that I didn't like the way Tylearn did it. I enjoyed what he was going for. But until we see what Imperfect Cell brings to the table, I can't really see very much interest go into 17 and 18 in the future saga. They may be more interesting than my 17 and 18, because we know where that's headed, but from what we saw, it got really repetitive, and with King Cold and Frieza being in my timeline, I think I did it a little better. So far, we're looking at StevDeS 2, Tylearn 1. Will Tylearn be able to come back from this, or do you think StevDeS is going to be able to take the win on this one? We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsor.
Hey! What are you doing?
Well, I'm drinking this boring apple juice, but it's supposed to be good for you. Hey, what was that for? And what is that?
It's Appule-Jeice!
Product not yet labeled.
Appule-Jeice is a rare health supplement that's supposed to turn any weakling into a responsible member of the forces.
You feel the burn?
You feel the burn, maggot?
I'm feeling the burn. I should go see a doctor.
Bull! You don't need a doctor! You need a Appule-Jeice! But don't you take my word for it. Listen to these satisfied customers.
I remember getting up one morning, not feeling up to conquer for Lord Frieza, but one sip of Appule-Jeice, and our unit got that planet down in no time flat. And you can too, with Appule-Jeice.
I never forget my Appule-Jeice whenever I had to go work out at the gym. Being the Ginyu powerhouse is hard work, but with Appule-Jeice, I get it done better.
One day, we were sent to a planet that was really bothering Lord Frieza, and I wasn't really up to using any telekinesis. The captain gave me this bottle, told me to drink it, and boom! I was throwing buildings around like crazy.
Not only am I the fastest being in the universe, but thanks to Appule-Jeice, I've beaten my record 5 times over, and with its help, I'll go for 6.
I'll admit, when Jeice brought this formula to my attention, I was quite skeptical. But now, I'm bringing 2 5-packs into every battle that Lord Frieza sends us into.
If the captain loved it, then you can too. Just know that there's no money back because all proceeds go to Planet Wrench, which is owned by Lord Frieza. But still, you're helping someone out.
Appule-Jeice, I've been doing that one last push-up for months! You need it too, because with Appule-Jeice, I'm not some weak nerd like that guy in the intro. Woo!
Appule-Jeice, for the Frieza soldier in all of us. Or else.
I am Lord Frieza, and I approve this message.
Welcome back to Great Minds. Now let's continue this with resolutions. In Tylearn's, he's able to end his with absolutely no time travel, and more impressively, no Goku. Gohan has his growth and becomes Earth's defender alongside Mr. Piccolo. The Z-Warriors who can be brought back are brought back, and things continue just as normal, with things going pretty concurrent to the canon since they have Dende and they're able to get their Dragon Balls back. There is no Goku. Goku is still dead in the beginning of the Majin Buu saga, which flowed pretty regularly. Things end in the saga with a relatively good note, and the future saga is saved. They're able to do it. For mine, however, resolutions are a lot more bittersweet, because I haven't gotten as far as Tylearn has. The main resolutions from what I did was the past Z fighters are much stronger, and Trunks is still able to turn Super Saiyan, not to mention the chase to Giro's lab. That doesn't happen. He was killed on the spot thanks to the abundance of Super Saiyans and the one Super Namekian. For this round, point goes to Tylearn. He wrapped up the Future Saga without time travel and made it really good. Actually, made it believable. If Future Piccolo survived, the Future Saga would be intact with no time travel whatsoever. I just wonder what he's going to do when they have to fight Zamasu. With that point tying it up, we go to the last subject. Plot devices. Tylearn used the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, Namekian Fusion, King Kai, and the Dragon Balls. The plot devices that I used were Gohan's death, the Time Machine, and Namekian Fusion. I'm going to narrow this down because I do plan to use the Dragon Balls in mine, so I'll cross that out for Tylearn as well as Namekian Fusion. That has happened in both our scenarios, so cross that out. To better differentiate our scenarios, we'll be looking at the plot devices where Tylearn used the Hyperbolic Time Chamber and King Kai's interference, along with, in mine, the Time Machine and Gohan's death. Let's begin with Tylearn's, because the Hyperbolic Time Chamber does serve multiple uses. The main idea with the Hyperbolic Time Chamber was to power up Gohan and Piccolo so that they could deal with Androids 17 and 18. And the main idea with King Kai was to show where New Namek was. There really wasn't much else past that. Sure, Goku was able to get a few lines in, but the main idea there was for King Kai to find New Namek for them. King Kai is his weak plot device, where he's just there for a few minutes to make the plot keep going. There's really not much to branch off of with King Kai's interference. However, his strong plot device is the hyperbolic time chamber. This allows him to get the result he wants, in which Teen Gohan and future Piccolo are the ones to take out 17 and 18. This is a strong plot device because it accomplishes multiple things at one time. Not only does future Piccolo get stronger with the hyperbolic time chamber, but Gohan gets stronger, he gets more confident, and he unlocks the Super Saiyan form, allowing him to be much stronger for training with Piccolo. Now, what about my plot devices that I used? The time machine and Gohan's death. Well, it is very similar to Tylearn's because I have a weak plot device and a strong plot device as well. The main ideas that I had behind involving the time machine and Gohan's death were the following. The time machine was needed to save Goku in the past and to warn about the androids. Gohan's death was incorporated purely because future Trunks, I felt, needed to get Super Saiyan. And with future Trunks interacting with Piccolo, I could have a more unique scenario. However, there would have been more than one way for Trunks to unlock Super Saiyan. Gohan's death wasn't necessary. In this respect, Tylearn's plot device of the hyperbolic time chamber makes my argument for Gohan's death obsolete. Because even if Gohan died and Trunks had no idea about it, Piccolo would be able to get Trunks up to Super Saiyan. There is one thing that my weak plot point does though, and that helps future Piccolo get some character development. We haven't seen him without Gohan before. So to see him suffer with the idea that Gohan's dead adds a bit of character development. Much like how Tylearn's weak point adds to Gohan's character development because it's Goku wanting to talk to his son after so long. However, my time machine is a strong plot point because in the canon, not only does King Cold fight, because it's kind of 2-on-1 if he doesn't, this is also a situation where not only the Z fighters end up stronger, but 19 and Jiro? They're killed on the spot. With stronger Z fighters in the past, thanks to Goku heeding Piccolo's warning a little better, things progress a lot more comfortably, and at the same time, a lot more in the shadow. We still have Imperfect Cell to deal with. Apparently 16 is out and about, wanting to hunt down Son Goku, and he knows where to look first. And we have the conundrum about what's gonna happen to 17 and 18. Things are far more in the air in my timeline, adding some suspense. Meanwhile, Tylearn's plot devices help establish a future that all the set pieces are in place for. We can look forward to something creative here. So, with that being said, the point and the game, I think, goes to StevDeS. Now let me be clear, as if I haven't enough in this episode. I am trying to be as non-biased as possible. None of this was because of bias. I looked at both stories, really gave it a thinking over, and made sure to treat both as a story. I didn't consider the YouTuber, I didn't consider the way they did it, I considered the kind of leaps and bounds every character had to go through. In mine, I think that there's a lot more set pieces in place. There's a lot more that can happen, and with a lot more happening, there's a lot more potential for the scenario to occur differently than in canon. That doesn't mean in any way Tylearn's isn't worth seeing. It is amazing the way he did the Future Saga, something that I wouldn't even have thought of in a million years. And so, his scenario deserves just as much love as mine does. Mine held up a lot more with pushing future Piccolo as the protagonist. In my opinion, Gohan got a lot more spotlight in part 2 than what was needed. We know what Gohan's capable of. We know what he can do. Even though those plot points were established for a good reason as far as Gohan taking the torch, ultimately, future Piccolo kind of drifted into the past. Kind of a supporting role and not the protagonist that the title would in fact show you. And so, this episode of Great Minds comes to a close. But, as always, creativity is universal. I don't want my opinion to be the main point. So, I invite you all, fans of Tylearn and fans of StevDeS, vote in the poll above for which one you legitimately liked more, only based on the merits of the story, not the people behind them. I want a fair vote here. Much like all of my content, I want to look at the source material when it comes down to stuff like this. And hey, if you haven't seen either one, check out the links in the description or in that bubble above. Trust me, this is not the last episode of Great Minds. However, if you have a couple of what-ifs that are very similar on YouTube that you want me to look at that doesn't involve mine for once, go ahead and comment below. I'd love to put my wits to the test with something that doesn't involve mine in the future for this channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, and remember, creativity is universal.
Special thanks to Austin for sending me that push-up clip, William for letting me spill apple juice all over him several times over, Tylearn for being the voice of the Frieza soldier, and viewers like you for making the What If community what it is today.